Spanish is a skill all Americans should know. All schools from pre-K should teach Spanish at the same time they teach English. The earlier you learn a language, the easier you can learn it or understand it later on. Noam Chomsky, professor of linguistics at Massachusetts Institute of Technology says, and I quote, "There's a particular period of maturation in which the external stimulation of the appropriate kind, the capacity will pretty suddenly develop and mature. Therefore, the brain is more likely to learn a different language at a younger age compared to when you become an adult." Noam Chomsky also states that from birth to puberty, if you don't learn a language at that time, you will never learn it. Again, this allows us to understand how the brain works. The older you are, the more your mind is aware of the language you speak, for example, English, making it harder for you to learn another language in the future. Many may ask, why learn Spanish? The reason is because Spanish is the second most spoken language in the United States, which means more job opportunities are open to you. Being bilingual, it turns out, makes you smarter, says Yujit Buttigieg. Not only does Spanish benefit you in future careers, but it affects your brain, and studies show that learning a second language also shields you from dementia in the future. Even President Barack Obama himself said, Americans should learn Spanish. Although people worry constantly that learning Spanish could change America's culture as a whole, but the truth is, America has no dominant culture. The First Amendment supports freedom of religion/culture. Therefore, even trying to justify that a language can change an entire country's culture is entirely wrong. Learning Spanish can tie bonds between certain people and or a country, different countries. Obama also states that instead of worrying about whether immigrants can learn English, you need to make sure your child speaks Spanish. It seems that Spanish is more commonly becoming an alternative to English, but keep in mind, Spanish is the second language they would be teaching at schools. Therefore, it wouldn't diminish the entire English language. Spanish should be taught in American schools, and it should be taught from a young age. Therefore, by the time senior year rolls around, an average American student would already be bilingual, thus opening doors the person would never have otherwise. The American way must be changed. And although most people are afraid of the change, the inheritance of Spanish into our schooling systems might actually remove all the negativity from the minds of the American people and make us one of a union and connect us significantly more as a country.